Thank you, everyone, for joining today's Stay Connected webinar. We are very happy today to have Jeff Cole with Beyond School Bells, who are fabulous after-school partners to all of us across the state. He's going to talk about the TMC Trailers and also resources they have at Beyond School Bells for planning your summer program. So thank you so much, Jeff, and thanks to all of you joining us today.
Great.
Jeff, you go ahead and just take it away.
Great. Thanks, Kim. Appreciate it. And yeah, thanks people for tuning in. And hopefully there'll be some others who join up later on the YouTube channel that the department sponsors. So yeah, I'm going to talk today about the Think, Make, Create labs, what we call the TMC labs, which have been an interesting project for us. We started off kind of talking to some of our rural program partners about how we could help support their programs. And, really centered on three things. One was awareness. People, didn't know that they had a great program going on in their community. So they wanted some help with awareness. Storage, a consistent problem with after school programs is where do we store all the great stuff we use to get kids excited in our programs? And then the last one, and this kind of coincided with some work we were doing with the department, was some additional platforms to do STEM learning. And so we kind of thought about that for a while and came up with the idea of why don't we try and develop a trailer that could act as a billboard for the community. So we had kind of this NASCAR vision in mind that all the sponsors would put their logos on the TMC and kind of raise the awareness of the program in the community. And then, it's essentially a 7x12 trailer. So it's a 7x12 storage unit that you can put your great after-school supplies in at the end of the school day. And then lastly, we thought, well, let's be a little bit more directive in the content of the trailer. So we developed a list that we've kind of played around with in the subsequent years of materials that could be provided that give you a starting point for engaged hands-on learning experiences to get kids excited, engaged, and inspired with STEM learning. I'd say a starting point. We always viewed the TMC as the floor, not the ceiling. We really hope that programs will kind of hack it for their own uses and adapt it to the strengths of their community and make it really a community centered tool. So that was kind of the original concept for the TMC. And rather than try to explain it in details, I've got a short clip from a video that I think does a much better job than I do in describing how the TMC works in a community. So I will pull that up and we can shift over there. And yeah.
We use the Makerspace trailer through the Grand Island Public Schools for after school club for K-5 students. It's just a little trailer that's able to be pulled around from school to school, and they bring it in, they park it, and the kids get to see it and they get super excited about it being there.
Inside it has these shelves that are built into it. It's basically full of technology pieces. Even just your basic art supplies are also on there, and they're stored in totes that teachers can easily access. So when it comes to their building, they can take those materials off and set up their station.
We'll have 6 stations set up, and we'll have up to 8 kids at a station. And so they're asking each other questions. They're trying to solve things together. It's not a one-on-one activity. And that's the part that's really fun to see.
I like working in a group because you can have all different ideas and then combine them into one great idea.
We've got Legos, we've got wood blocks, we've got Lincoln logs, just some of those hands-on activities that are different than the paper and pencil activities that are sometimes in the classroom.
Like, you can use robots, baby robots that follow your lines with a marker. And the marker's so cheap, but the robot is not. So don't break it. I took tinfoil and I made it into a boat and put pennies in it and then see how much pennies it could take until it sank. My favorite part is that you get to use your imagination, and I use my imagination a lot, so I like it.
We've had just total engagement when we have kids come in, and kids that might not be engaged in the classroom these hands-on types of activities that they can really dig into, and they can try and problem solve and ask questions, and talk to other kids. They just love it.
After-school programs are this place that we really undervalue in American educational systems that is connected to the great learning that's taking place in the classroom, but does it in a way that kind of falls outside of those boundaries. It kind of takes education kind of out of a box and says, look, education happens everywhere. And it doesn't magically stop at 3:30 when the school bell stops. It happens all the time.
Sometimes you really got to work your brain and not just sit there. You have to work it, push it. Sometimes you even got to knock it out.
I love Natasha on there. She's fantastic. And also loved Aiden, one of the young students that was interviewed. And, when he said he really likes to use his imagination, and that this after school program that he was enrolled with at the time in Grand Island allowed him to do that. And that was kind of our goal with the TMC lab. It was to provide a low cost, low tech entry point for young people to get excited about using their imagination. So we always said cardboard, some duct tape, and a good imagination, you can do a lot. And so we wanted to provide that, but then also some of the other things. So it's been a surprising success for us at Beyond School Bells. We started with a prototype in 2015, and just looking at the calendar, it looks like we've been at work for 10 years now, and have expanded to have 43 units across Nebraska, and then are partnering with a cluster of other states that have an additional, I think, around 35. So we're sneaking up on 80 TMC labs across the country. Most recently, we have expanded to Taiwan. We actually have one operating in Taiwan, supporting a STEM learning center there. It's kind of grown our nearby states. We've got one in our 3 in South Dakota, one in Wyoming. But the big winner in this has been Idaho. And we've really learned a ton from our partners in Idaho, who have, I believe it's 28 TMC labs now in Idaho. And they're doing a lot of creative work that's really influenced us. And as we're starting to think about the future, most recently, I was telling Kim earlier, tomorrow I'm going to be driving across the state of Nebraska with a TMC in tow. We're going to be taking some fresh greens that one of our partners here in Lincoln has grown out to the 21st Century program in Cozad, and sharing them with them. They have a Grow Tower program that they're getting launched in Cozad now in their after school program. And then we'll continue on to New Mexico. So New Mexico's our next TMC state. We had a donor that wanted to bring one out there. And then finally, Georgia is partnering with the Georgia Department of Education, and they'll be doing 5 more in Georgia. So excited to see the continued growth, and we have plans for more of that. And if folks in Nebraska are interested in building your own or getting our help and building one for you, we would be happy to do so. We've got a website on beyondschoolbells.org, a page on our website that's all about the TMC labs. So want to make sure that people know we're still actively growing the TMC network. Alana Pearson, who is on our team at Beyond School Bells, used to run a 21st Century program in Oakland Craig Public Schools, which, raised their funding to buy their own TMC. So she's our in-house TMC expert. She's now working for us at Beyond School Bells, and is really, she still volunteers at her program and uses the TMC lab there. So she's very good at helping communities develop that resource. But for us now, we're really trying to think about, now that we've got this widespread, what can we do with the growing fleet of TMC labs across the country? So we have been working with our partners at Nebraska Extension to provide new programming opportunities in the TMC labs. There's one most recently, it's a Learn, Grow, Eat, Go It's a physical fitness and healthy lifestyle curriculum. So we have a bin, as you saw in that video. A lot of the programming is bin based so that you can easily slide a bin out, set it up, and then have your programming there. So excited about that. We're also very interested in utilizing the TMC labs to further parent and family engagement. So we've, again, been working with Nebraska Extension to develop some take-home STEM backpacks. So the idea is you do a great STEM activity, you're excited about it, the kid gets to check out a backpack and take home and engage their parents, and furthering that excitement about STEM. Typically, we try to embed some career exploration in those so that you can begin helping your child see themselves kind of have a future in the STEM field. So that's an area that we're really excited about. We're also doing a lot of work around engineering. We've got a couple of projects, one being the Million Girl Moonshot, which is a national initiative around getting more girls and underrepresented groups in STEM careers. So we've been developing some engineering units that take advantage of all the tools that are in the TMC. So excited about that. We're also developing some of our own programming. So we are partnering now with the several communities in greater Nebraska to try and utilize the TMC as a platform for hands-on training experiences. So this summer, we'll be piloting some trainings for high school kids to train them on how to use the materials in the TMC to facilitate STEM learning for elementary and middle school youth. And we're hoping to pair that with an opportunity for these high school students who are learning by teaching to actually learn by doing, by getting them an internship in STEM businesses in their community, so that they can begin to see themselves again helping to fill that STEM talent pipeline that's going to be so crucial for Nebraska's continued growth and development. So very excited about those. We're also hopeful that by engaging high school students, we'll be contributing to growing the teacher pipeline in Nebraska as we, states around the country really face a teacher shortage, a growing teacher shortage, especially in our rural communities. We want to really support some of those grow your own initiatives and think that, the kind of excitement and difference that operating a TMC can provide will get young people who need a little bit of additional stimulation to jump into the teaching or youth development career. So lots of ideas on our end about how we can use the TMC to kind of further our efforts in Nebraska to support high quality, cost efficient, and locally sustainable after school and summer programs in communities across the state. Those, I think, were my main points on the TMC. We do, I mentioned, have a website where we have lots of information about the TMC. We've got newsletters that we produce with our partners in other states that are all posted there. Examples of the stuff that's inside a TMC. So I can pull that up real quickly. But it gives you examples, kind of what the build out looks like, the kinds of materials that are available in the trailer. We've got, electronic supplies, various tools. One of the communities did a really nice job at facilitating a parent engagement activity where dads who were interested in carpentry could come in and do some building activities with their children in the program. So again, really view the TMC as a tool chest, something that you can utilize to do a wide variety of programs in your community. But it's got the Connects and Legos and brainstorming stuff. So lots of gardening supplies. We've seen a lot of interest. We've actually refreshed the TMCs over the last several years with lots of gardening equipment so that communities can use it and pull it out to a community garden site and have all their supplies handy. They have pop-up work tables, canopies. So, as we move into the summer months, we're really excited about the opportunity to use the TMC to support summer camp experiences. Beyond School Bells is a program of Nebraska Children and Families Foundation, and we run a program called Camp Catch-Up that allows youth in the foster care system to get reconnected with siblings who have other placements. And so we do 3 of those each summer, and the TMC will be going to those and providing those young people with STEM learning experiences. So really love, using the wheels on the TMC and using it as a pop-up classroom and camp experiences. We're also working with a partner here in Lincoln that's doing a lot of work around gardening, and they'll be using the TMC to take their produce to farmers markets and food distribution outlets across the city. So excited about, how local communities are adapting it to meet their own needs, which is, essentially what we want, communities to do, is to take what we provide as the floor, but then just completely, go in your own direction to make it a tool that meets your community's after school and summer program needs. So I'll stop there. If there are any questions, just stop that share.
I had a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
If a school or maybe even a nonprofit organization was interested in partnering with you, what would be the first step?
Yeah, so I mentioned my colleague Alana Pearson. She is our TMC coordinator, but I mentioned Alana for many reasons. She's operated those herself, but she also was very effective at doing a fundraiser in her community to raise the funds so that they could have their own TMC. So we tried to keep the costs low on this. This is right now, I think our estimate is around $17,000. Everything from buying the shell of a trailer to doing the build out to putting all of the supplies in it and then putting some kind of a graphic package on the trailer. Most recent ballpark is between $16,500 and $17,500 for that. So we wanted to keep it under $20,000. Initially it was under $15,000, but after COVID, the inflation hit. So we're trying to keep it under 20,000. But yeah, we've got some partners that are interested in supporting communities, and then, definitely think it's within the range of communities to support themselves. So Alana or myself would be the chief contact people.
Well, we all appreciate your creativity and commitment to this very great project for kids and how engaged they look in that video. Just such a good idea.
Well, it's been a fun and rewarding project. It really has been. And I think, oftentimes we don't think enough about the things that are fun for us to do. I mean, those are the things that drive us to do more of them. And this has been, a kind of an unexpected energy enhancer for all of us at Beyond School Bells. And as you noted, seeing the face of those kids light up when they're involved in a well-structured activity. The program in Grand Island is facilitated by Grand Island Public Schools teachers, and they do a great job at engaging, the young people in hands-on learning. And as that young woman at the end noted, sometimes you just got to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone, and sometimes you just got to knock it out. And our hope is that these programs will allow young people to engage with, more folks in their community, in different settings, kind of taking education, as we said, out of a box and helping young people realize that they're learning everywhere and all the time. So it's been a great project for us, and we would love to share that with others.
Would you say, Jeff, you have activities for K-12? So any level of program you operate, you could find something there? Or is it primarily elementary or?
Yeah, no, it's elementary, middle is kind of our target. We've had some at high schools, but they've tended to get repurposed for other uses. So the one that I mentioned that's being used kind of as a mobile greens platform, use for community gardens is one of our high schools here in Lincoln. And they're using it in that way. The pop-up functionality works for any grade level. So, you could take it to a nearby state park, load it up with sleeping bags and tents, and then all of a sudden you've got a base for a weekend camping program for high school kids if
Wow.
that's what you wanted to do. But most of the program is really focused on elementary and middle school kids. Although I must admit, I've gotten lost for hours and a stack of cardboard and make-a-do's and, given a task to build a city. So it does work for everybody if you're willing to use your imagination.
I bet, I don't want to put Eric on the spot, but I bet he's thinking about a lot of connections to his Nebraska Appleseed program.
Hey, yeah. I'm really just curious about the program. The one question I wanted to maybe spur some fun talk might be, what do you learn from Idaho that you've brought to others?
Yeah. So, our initial model in Nebraska was to raise the funding ourselves at Beyond School Bells and then gift the trailers to communities across the state, largely in 21st century community learning center sites. It's kind of been the backbone for us. Idaho took a different turn. They've maintained some ownership over them themselves with the Idaho After School Network and used it as a tool that goes to multiple programs. So they're using the wheels much more than we do. We kind of gift it to a community and then it's in that community. They're going to community A for a week, community B for a week. So they're using it in that way, kind of more in and out. The other thing that Idaho has done that we're really excited about is this model that I mentioned we're going to be piloting this summer. So they got a $2 million grant from their Department of Economic Development to use the TMC as a platform for training high school kids to offer STEM programming for rural youth in elementary and middle school after-school programs. So that is part of their Rural STEM Talent Pipeline Development Initiative. And the idea is that coupling, the education they're getting during the school day with these kinds of hands-on experiences really creates a deeper learning experience for the high school students, in addition to priming those elementary and middle school kids for higher level STEM subjects that they'll encounter in high school. So we took that model to Nebraska and are trying to duplicate that here, but then add on the element of getting those rural high school students an internship in their community with a STEM employer. So we're really excited about that. And, again, a great example of learning from Idaho. The other community, I was down at a conference in New Orleans, and our partners in Louisiana have rebranded the Think, Make, Create labs there into the Brain Food Truck. And, kind of playing off the food truck ideas that are really popular. This is the Brain Food Truck. And they have a regional STEM kind of ecosystem model in Louisiana. And so this is a rural district just above New Orleans. So they brought it into the parking lot of the conference and we did a hands-on STEM learning experience with youth from a local after-school program there. So seeing that, use of kind of innovative marketing to get kind of a local spin on it is something we're very open to. As the video with Grand Island suggested, they kind of put their own spin on the TMC with their the graphics package that they put on their trailer.
I appreciate the project. That's really amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, I really want to thank Jeff for his creativity and generosity and building and providing such great learning opportunities for students after school, summer coming up. Thank you.
Well,
So,
no, it's again been our pleasure. We will be doing another story on this in our next newsletter. So those of you who are registered to get our newsletters, expect one on the TMC expands to New Mexico here, probably in our May newsletter.
exciting. Well, thank you so much. And thanks everybody for joining. We really appreciate it. Our next Stay Connected is on April 18th at noon. Jackie Steffen's going to talk about the 2024 Reading Connections program and how to get involved in that. So Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
See
Kim.
you then. Thanks, Jeff.